The stars blurred. The human ship Odyssey was only supposed to make a short jump to a nearby colony. It was routine, nothing unusual. The crew was relaxed, smiling even. They had done this hundreds of times before. But this time, something went wrong. The lights inside the ship flickered. Alarms screamed. The walls shook as if the universe itself was tearing apart. And then, suddenly, silence. For a long moment, no one moved. Only the soft hum of the engines could be heard. Captain Elias Stone stood in the command chair, his hands gripping the console. He was calm, but his eyes searched every screen. Something was off. Something was very wrong. "Report," he said, his voice steady. Lieutenant Kara, the navigator, swallowed hard. "Captain, this isn't the right sector. We overshot the coordinates. I don't even know where we are." Before anyone could respond, the windows of the Odyssey revealed the truth. The crew gasped. All around them, stretching across the endless dark, were warships. Hundreds of them. Massive alien vessels, bristling with weapons that glowed like suns. Their hulls shimmered with symbols, strange banners waving proudly in space. And at the very center, a colossal fortress ship hovered like a god of war. The crew realized at once they had jumped straight into the heart of something far greater than they could imagine. This is a capital fleet," Kara whispered, her voice trembling. "Captain, we've landed in the middle of an empire." Before Captain Stone could answer, the comms screen lit up. A figure appeared, a tall alien commander, his armor black and edged with gold. His eyes burned with pride and cruelty. He spoke slowly, his voice echoing across the bridge. "Kneel, strangers. You stand before the Empire." The words struck like thunder. The crew froze. They were one small ship against hundreds. Escape was impossible. Fight was suicide. Surrender seemed the only option. The alien commander continued, his tone mocking. "No one trespasses into the heart of the Empire and lives. You are already dead. But if you kneel, if you beg, perhaps we will let you die quickly." The silence that followed was heavy. Every crew member looked to Captain Stone. Their faces were pale, their eyes wide with fear. They expected him to surrender. To lower his head. To do what any small ship would do when surrounded by an empire. But Stone did not bow. He leaned forward, his gaze sharp and unshaken. His voice was calm, almost cold. "We didn't come to bow." The words cut through the silence like a blade. The alien commander blinked, then laughed. The sound was deep and cruel. Soon, the voices of other alien ships joined in mocking, echoing across the channels. "Brave words from a fragile vessel," one alien sneered. "Crush them now," another said. "End this insult." But Captain Stone stood firm. The crew looked at him in disbelief. How could he speak like that? Did he not see the hundreds of ships? Did he not know they were hopelessly outmatched? Yet, in that moment, something stirred inside them. His courage was not madness. It was strength. And strength was infectious. Kara's trembling stopped. Ensign Darrell straightened his back at the weapons station. Even the engineer, old and tired, lifted his chin. If their captain would not kneel, then neither would they. The alien commander's smile faded. "Very well. If you will not kneel, then you will burn." A wave of alien ships shifted forward, their weapons charging. Blue light gathered across the fleet, ready to strike. Inside the Odyssey, tension filled every corner. Red lights flashed. Alarms howled. The crew braced for impact. "Orders, Captain?" Kara asked, her voice tight but steady now. Captain Stone looked around the bridge, meeting each of their eyes. He saw fear, but also fire. These were not people ready to beg. These were humans, and humans never knelt. His voice rang clear. "Ready shields. Lock weapons. If they want to see us kneel, they'll have to bury us first." The bridge erupted into motion. Fingers flew over controls, screens lit up, weapons armed. The Odyssey was small, but it would not go quietly. Outside, the alien ships loomed larger, their weapons glowing brighter. The first shot was seconds away. But something unexpected happened. The alien commander raised his hand, halting the attack. His eyes narrowed. There was no fear in the humans' faces. No begging. No surrender. Only defiance. And that defiance unsettled him. He studied them for a long moment, then spoke again. So be it. The Empire will enjoy breaking you. The comms cut off. The alien ships spread out, forming a cage around the Odyssey. Every path was blocked. Every escape was closed. The humans were trapped. Yet on the bridge, Captain Stone stood tall. His voice was low, but every crew member heard it. We may have walked into an empire by mistake, he said. But make no mistake, we will never back down. The crew held their breath. The first battle was about to begin. And somewhere deep in their hearts, a strange feeling rose, not despair, but something sharper. Hope. Because even against an empire, they would not kneel. Not now. Not ever. The alien fleet surrounded the Odyssey like wolves circling a lone prey. Hundreds of warships, glowing with deadly light, locked their weapons on the tiny human vessel. To the Empire, this was not a battle. It was entertainment. On the bridge, red lights flashed across every screen. Warnings filled the air. The crew of the Odyssey gripped their stations, hearts pounding. They're charging weapons, Kara reported, her voice sharp. Ensign Darrell's hands hovered over the fire controls. Captain, if they unleash a full volley, we're dust. Captain Elias Stone stood calm, his face lit by the red glow. He knew the odds. One ship against hundreds. By every law of war, they should already be dead. But something deeper burned inside him. Something that refused to kneel. He spoke slowly. Then let's remind them that humans don't break so easily. The alien commander's voice thundered again across the comms. Last chance, humans. Lower your shields. Power down your weapons. Kneel or be destroyed. Stone's reply was calm, almost cold. We don't kneel. The alien commander sneered. Then you die. And with that, the stars lit up. Blinding streams of blue plasma streaked toward the Odyssey. The ship shook violently as the shields absorbed the impact. Sparks flew across the bridge. Panels burst with smoke. But the ship held, for now. Shields at 70%. Kara shouted. Engines stable, the engineer barked. The alien fleet roared forward, confident their prey would crumble. To them, this was only a matter of time. But the humans struck back. Fire. Captain Stone commanded. The Odyssey's railguns thundered, unleashing streams of molten metal that tore across the void. Missiles followed, twisting through space like angry spirits. They slammed into the nearest alien warship, ripping holes through its shining hull. The Empire laughed at first until the ship exploded. A deafening silence spread across the alien channels. One of their warships, destroyed by a single human strike. On the bridge of the Odyssey, the crew froze for half a second. They hadn't expected that either. But then cheers erupted. We got one. Darrell shouted, fists pumping. Kara's lips curved into a smile. They bleed like anyone else. The alien commander's face returned on the screen, twisted with rage. Impossible. One ship cannot. Another explosion cut him off. A second alien warship burned, torn apart by precise human fire. Now the laughter of the fleet was gone. In its place came anger. And fear. Crush them, the commander roared. Crush them now. Dozens of alien ships surged forward, firing everything they had. Plasma storms ripped through the void. Beams of light cut across the black. The Odyssey danced between them, engines straining, shields breaking under the storm. The crew worked like one. Kara shouted new coordinates. Darrell fired again and again. Engineers rerouted power, forcing the ship to keep moving. And Captain Stone stood at the center, calm as steel. The Odyssey darted through the chaos, striking weak points with surgical precision. Each shot was clever, not random. They didn't have more guns. They had smarter hands. Another alien ship fell. Then another. For the first time in centuries, the Empire felt humiliation. On their channels, voices rose in disbelief. They're just one ship. How are they doing this? This isn't possible. But the humans knew. It wasn't their weapons alone, it was their will. The alien commander slammed his fist against his console. Enough. Surround them. Disable their engines. I want them alive. The fleet shifted tactics. Instead of destroying, they tried to trap. Nets of energy spread across the void, tightening around the Odyssey. The crew felt the walls closing in. Captain, we can't hold much longer, Kara shouted. Shields at 15%, the engineer warned. Stone's eyes narrowed. Escape was almost impossible. Almost. Bring us about, he ordered. Straight into the heart of their formation. The crew blinked. Captain, into them? Darrell asked, stunned. Stone's voice was firm. Yes. They'll expect us to run. So we'll charge. The Odyssey turned sharply, engines roaring as it dove directly into the swarm of alien warships. The aliens hesitated for 1 second, just one. That was enough. The humans fired everything they had. Missiles screamed. Railguns blazed. A wall of fire erupted at the Empire's heart. 3 alien ships fell at once, their hulks colliding with others, breaking the formation. For a brief moment, the impossible happened, the Odyssey broke through. Path clear. Kara shouted. Coordinates locked. Stone's eyes were steel. Jump. The stars twisted once more as the Odyssey tore itself out of the Empire's cage. Silence filled the bridge. The crew sat trembling, smoke still rising from broken panels. They were battered, shields nearly gone, weapons almost empty. But they were alive. And behind them, in the heart of the Empire, burned the wreckage of ships that were never supposed to fall. The alien commander's voice echoed in the void, filled with rage. Find them. Hunt them. No one defies the Empire, but the humans had already slipped into the dark, leaving behind a legend. They were the first to fight the Empire and survive. The first to say no and live to tell it. And for the first time, the Empire realized something terrifying: these humans did not break. Not even before an empire. The Odyssey was damaged but still moving. Smoke curled from the engines, lights flickered, and every panel seemed ready to fail. Yet the humans had escaped the first clash. For a moment, hope flickered. But the galaxy is not kind to small ships that defy empires. From the shadows of the Empire's fleets, a massive strike ship emerged, faster and deadlier than any before. The humans barely saw it before it fired a massive energy net. It wrapped around the Odyssey, crushing it like a cage of metal and light. Shields down, Kara yelled, panic rising. Impact in 3, Darrell warned. The Odyssey groaned and shook violently. Sparks rained from the ceiling as the ship slammed to a stop. They were trapped. The comms crackled. The same alien commander appeared again, his armor shining, his eyes cold. You have survived the first test. Now comes the second. You will come with us, alive. Captain Stone's jaw tightened. He knew the Empire would capture them. There was no choice now. Escape was impossible. But defiance remained. The ship's ramp opened, and massive alien soldiers boarded. The humans were outnumbered, surrounded, but their eyes burned with stubborn fire. The aliens laughed at them as they were dragged into the Empire's massive palace ship. Its walls were made of strange metals that shimmered with alien energy. The corridors were endless, and guards towered over them at every turn. You are small, one alien sneered, and fragile. Your world will fall before we finish with you. The humans were thrown into a large hall. Hundreds of aliens crowded around, staring down at them. The air smelled of metal and strange fuels. It was a place of power and fear. At the center, a massive throne loomed. The Emperor himself sat there, regal and terrifying. His skin was pale, but his eyes burned with intelligence and cruelty. He regarded the humans as one would a dangerous insect, curious but ready to crush. You came here by mistake, he said, his voice echoing like thunder. And yet, you have survived. Why? Captain Stone stepped forward. His hands were cuffed, but his voice was strong. Because humans don't bow. We don't kneel. We survive because we must. The Emperor's gaze sharpened. Bold words. Do you know what will happen if your defiance continues? Stone met the gaze without flinching. Then we'll survive that too. A murmur of shock ran through the crowd. No human had ever stood so tall before the Emperor. The alien commander stepped forward, his voice low and threatening. Study them. Learn why they are dangerous. Show them what happens to trespassers. Scientists and officers crowded the humans, poking and prodding. Machines scanned their bodies. Screens displayed readings they could not understand. Some whispered among themselves, eyes wide with shock. Strange biology, one alien muttered. They recover faster than expected. They are small, but their reflexes, another whispered. How can one race survive so much? The humans were examined but not broken. Their resolve remained. Even when placed in iron cuffs, forced into cells, they refused to beg. In one dark corridor, a young alien officer lingered, watching them from the shadows. Unlike his comrades, he did not laugh. Instead, he whispered to himself, "These humans, they are not like any I have seen. They will change everything." Later that night, the humans huddled in their cell. Smoke curled from the walls, and dim lights flickered overhead. "We're trapped," Kara said softly, her voice heavy. "They outnumber us. They're stronger, faster, everywhere." Stone looked at each of them. "Yes. But they have not broken us. They will try. And we will fight, one way or another. That is what humans do." Darryl frowned. "But how do we escape? They have ships, fleets, soldiers." Stone's eyes glinted. "We observe. We wait. The Empire is strong, but no one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. And we will find them." For hours, they planned in whispers. Every guard shift, every patrol, every unlocked door was noted. Maps of the palace ship were memorized. Weak points were marked. Escape was not guaranteed, but it was possible. Outside, in the palace halls, alien soldiers laughed and mocked them, confident in their victory. But inside the humans' hearts burned a quiet fire. Even in chains, even in a strange empire far from home, they refused to bow. A sudden alarm blared through the corridors. The humans froze. Guards rushed past their cell. Something was happening. Stone's eyes narrowed. "This is our chance," he said quietly. "Stay sharp. Every moment counts. And remember, we are not victims. We are humans. We survive." The humans glanced at one another. Fear was there, yes, but also hope. And in that hope, the first sparks of rebellion flickered. Somewhere deep in the Empire, the Emperor watched from his throne. His face was unreadable, but his eyes were sharp. "These humans, they are small, fragile, and yet, something about them unnerves me. We must watch them carefully. No one defies the Empire like this and lives. No one." The humans didn't know it yet, but their journey was only beginning. The Empire had underestimated them. And soon, they would discover that the smallest ship, the smallest crew, could shake the foundations of an entire empire. The first seeds of escape were planted. And with them, the first seeds of hope. Because the Odyssey crew was not just surviving, they were plotting. And the Empire would learn, soon enough, that humans never back down. The humans had been trapped for days. The palace ship was alive with alien guards, blinking lights, and endless corridors. Every sound echoed through the metal halls, every shadow seemed to hide a predator. Yet, in their cell, the crew of the Odyssey whispered plans. They memorized patrols, counted guards, and mapped the twisting passages of the Empire's fortress. Each moment of observation brought them closer to freedom. "We have a small window tonight," Captain Stone said, his voice quiet but firm. "The patrols will shift. The sensors in this sector are offline for a system check. This is our chance." Kara's eyes widened. "Are you sure?" Stone nodded. "We have no choice. We either fight for freedom or die here. I vote for freedom." When night came, darkness wasn't enough to hide their movements, but it helped. Stone led the way as they slipped silently from the cell, their chains hidden under loose uniforms. Every step was careful. Every breath controlled. The corridors stretched endlessly, lined with guards who believed no human could ever escape. Every corner held danger. Every turn could be their last. A patrol appeared around the bend. 2 massive soldiers, armed and alert. The humans froze. Stone counted silently, 3, 2, 1. Then, without hesitation, Darryl launched a smoke grenade. Thick black clouds filled the corridor. The aliens coughed, stumbling blindly. Stone and the crew slipped past, using the chaos to their advantage. Good thinking, Stone whispered, glancing at Darryl. Not my first plan like this, Darryl muttered, a small grin on his face. They ran deeper into the palace, avoiding sensors and cameras, ducking behind corners, and using maintenance shafts to move undetected. Every moment was tense. Every sound could alert the Empire. Then they reached the docking bay. Their ship, battered but intact, awaited. The doors were locked, and guards patrolled outside. But the humans didn't hesitate. Stone crouched near the door panel. We hack it. Quickly. Kara knelt beside him, fingers flying over the console. Sparks flew as she bypassed security. The locks clicked. The doors slid open. The humans slipped inside, hearts pounding. For a moment, hope surged. They were almost free. Almost. Outside, alarms blared. The Empire had realized something was wrong. Red lights flashed across the docking bay. Guards ran, weapons drawn. Stone's eyes narrowed. Hold nothing back. Fire everything. The Odyssey came alive. Weapons charged. Engines hummed with raw power. As alien soldiers fired, the humans returned fire. Lasers sliced the air, missiles streaked past, and chaos erupted. The crew moved like one. Every shot, every dodge, every maneuver was precise. The small ship twisted and turned through the bay, avoiding collisions, avoiding death. One massive alien cruiser blocked the exit. Its weapons charged, ready to obliterate them. Stone didn't hesitate. Full power. Ramming speed. The Odyssey shot forward like a missile. Energy shields flared as it crashed into the cruiser. The impact rocked the bay, alarms screamed, and the cruiser's weapons jammed. The humans barely avoided debris, but the path to space was clear. Go, go, go. Stone shouted. Engines roaring, the ship launched into the stars. Behind them, the docking bay erupted in fire. The Empire's alarms continued, but the humans were gone. Free, for now. But freedom came with a price. The Odyssey was damaged. Systems flickered. Weapons barely worked. Shields were low. And the Empire would not forget. We did it, Kara said, voice trembling, eyes wide. Stone didn't smile. Yes, for now. But they'll hunt us. The Empire doesn't forget. And they don't forgive. The crew huddled around the bridge, repairing systems, checking weapons, and scanning the stars. Somewhere out there, hundreds of alien ships were preparing to follow. Every jump, every move, would be dangerous. Darryl spoke, breaking the silence. Captain, they'll never expect us to come back, right? Stone shook his head. No. But we're not here to be expected. We're here to survive, to fight, and to show them what humans can do. Kara glanced at the stars, feeling a mix of fear and awe. Do you really think we can fight an empire? Stone's eyes glinted. We're not just fighting. We're humans. And humans never back down. For a moment, silence returned. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a cold, dark void filled with danger. The humans were small, fragile, and alone. But they had something the Empire could never understand: courage, cunning, and the will to survive. Behind them, alarms continued to sound in the Empire. Patrols scoured the docking bay. Officers shouted orders. But the humans were already gone, a ghost among the stars. And somewhere, deep inside the Empire's command halls, the alien commander clenched his fists. They escaped. How did they escape? Stone knew the answer, though he didn't speak it aloud. It wasn't luck. It wasn't weapons. It was human courage, human ingenuity, and refusal to bow. The journey was far from over. The Empire would chase them, fleets would hunt them, and battles were inevitable. But the humans had learned something vital: they could survive anything. The Odyssey limped through space, engines burning, shields low, but hearts high. Each crew member knew the same truth: escape was only the beginning. The real fight had just begun. And in the darkness of space, the human crew made a silent vow: no matter what came, no matter how strong the Empire, they would never back down. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, full of danger and opportunity. And the humans were ready to face every challenge. The Odyssey floated through the dark emptiness of space, engines groaning, shields flickering. The humans had escaped the Empire's palace ship, but they were far from safe. Behind them, the Empire's fleets were mobilizing, countless warships pouring into the void, ready to hunt. Captain Stone stood on the bridge, eyes scanning the stars. "They'll follow us," he said calmly. "And they'll expect us to run." "We can't outrun them forever," Kara said, tension in her voice. "They have hundreds of ships. We have one." Stone turned, his gaze steady. "Then we fight smarter. One ship against many? Doesn't matter. Humans don't just fight, they adapt, we improvise, and we survive." The stars ahead lit up suddenly. Alien ships appeared, faster than expected. They were closing in. Dozens at first, then hundreds, forming a net of death across the darkness. "Lock weapons," Stone commanded. "Prepare for engagement." The Odyssey shook as the first wave of plasma beams struck. Shields flared red, then blue, then began to fail. Sparks flew across the bridge, and the alarm klaxons screamed. "Shields at 30%. Kara shouted. "Engines holding, barely," the engineer replied. The first impact rocked the ship. Panels exploded. Smoke filled the bridge. Yet the humans held their ground. They would not bow. They would not beg. "Fire everything we have," Stone yelled. Lasers streaked through the void, missiles screeched past, and the Odyssey twisted and turned like a bird dodging a storm. One by one, alien ships exploded. The humans were small, yes, fragile compared to the Empire, but their aim was deadly, precise, unexpected. The Empire hesitated. Never before had one ship dared to fight like this in the heart of their space. "Impossible," the alien commander growled. "One ship cannot destroy so many. Bring reinforcements." The humans knew the Empire would send more. They had anticipated it. Captain Stone plotted a dangerous course straight into the enemy formation. "Full engines. Prepare to dive into the center," he ordered. Kara gasped. "Captain, into them? That's suicide." Stone shook his head. "No. It's strategy. They'll expect us to avoid the center. But we won't just dodge, we'll strike where it hurts the most." The Odyssey dove like a comet. Energy shields flared as it twisted through enemy ships. Every shot they fired was calculated, every movement deliberate. Alien ships collided, weapons jammed, chaos erupted in the formation. "Captain, their flagship is ahead," Darrell shouted. Stone's eyes narrowed. The Empire's massive flagship glowed ominously, engines humming with immense power. "That's where we go." Hit their heart. Missiles and lasers screamed. The Odyssey weaved through the storm, firing relentlessly. The flagship's shields flared red, then yellow, cracks forming along the hull. A direct hit sent sparks flying across the void. The Empire watched in disbelief. One human ship, battered and small, was destroying their pride. The news spread quickly across the fleets. "The humans, they are fearless. They cannot be broken." Stone barked orders. "Keep pressure on them. Make every shot count. Don't let them regroup." The alien flagship roared, firing massive plasma beams. The Odyssey ducked, twisted, and fired back with precision. One ship exploded. Then another. The Empire had never seen this kind of attack. Amid the chaos, Kara shouted, "Captain, shields critical. Weapons offline in 2 minutes." Stone's hands flew across the console. "We can't worry about that now. We finish this fight, then worry about survival." The Odyssey pressed on, weaving between larger warships, targeting weak points, dodging death at every turn. The small ship became a storm of destruction, carving a path straight to the flagship. The flagship's energy shields faltered under the relentless assault. Smoke and fire erupted from its hull. The Empire's soldiers watched in horror as the humans tore through what was supposed to be invincible. Impossible, the alien commander muttered. How can one ship? But the humans knew the truth. It wasn't just weapons. It was courage, cunning, and refusal to bow. The flagship's weapons charged for a final blast. Death itself aimed at the tiny human ship. Stone gritted his teeth. Hold steady, fire all remaining missiles. The Odyssey released its last volleys. They struck the flagship squarely, tearing open the hull. Alarms screamed, explosions roared, and the massive ship faltered. The Empire froze. For the first time, doubt crept into their hearts. Could a tiny human crew really challenge their might? Could one small ship inspire fear across 1,000 worlds? The humans barely escaped the blast, shields down to nothing, engines near failure, but alive. Behind them, chaos reigned in the Empire's fleet. Ships collided, weapons malfunctioned, and officers shouted orders that could not be executed fast enough. Stone exhaled slowly, sweat on his brow. This is only the beginning. They will regroup. And we'll need every ounce of skill to survive what comes next. Kara looked out the window. The stars seemed darker now, filled with danger and opportunity. Captain, we can't fight them forever. We're too small. Stone shook his head. We don't have to fight forever. We have to survive and strike smart. The Empire may be strong, but they cannot break our will. And that is what they will never understand. Darryl grinned, battered and tired. They'll never expect us to come back. Stone smiled faintly. No. But we'll go where they least expect and show them humans do not bow. Humans never back down. The Odyssey limped through the dark, stars stretching endlessly before them. One small ship, one small crew, had set the Empire on fire. And the galaxy would remember that night. The battle was won for now, but the war was far from over. The Odyssey drifted through the silent darkness of space, battered and smoking. Engines sputtered. Shields were gone. Weapons were barely functional. The humans had survived impossible odds, but the Empire would not forget. Captain Elias Stone stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the stars. They'll come for us again, he said quietly. And next time, it will be more ships, more weapons, more fire. Kara, pale but determined, replied, then we fight again. We have to. We can't hide forever. Stone nodded. Right. Humans never back down. And we'll show them why. Behind them, the Empire had mobilized its fleets. Every cruiser, every warship, was ordered to hunt the Odyssey and its tiny crew. A massive force, ready to crush any resistance. And yet, the humans refused to fear. Captain, Darryl said, checking the sensors, they're tracking us. Dozens of ships are closing fast. We won't outrun them. Stone's jaw tightened. Then we don't run. We fight. The Odyssey limped into a narrow asteroid field. Enormous rocks floated in silence, shadows against the starlight. It was risky, but the humans had a plan. The Empire's large ships could not maneuver easily here. One small human ship might just survive. Engage evasive maneuvers, Stone ordered. And keep their attention on us. Lasers streaked across the field, some striking asteroids, others narrowly missing the Odyssey. The humans weaved through the rocks with skill born of desperation. Every twist and turn brought them closer to survival. Every shot fired against pursuing ships was precise, calculated. The Empire's flagship appeared ahead, larger and deadlier than ever. Its weapons glowed like suns, ready to obliterate the tiny ship. Stone clenched his fists. It's now or never. Fire everything. Missiles launched, railguns fired, and the Odyssey became a storm of destruction. One by one, alien ships collided with asteroids, others were hit directly. The Empire's forces faltered, unprepared for such relentless tactics. Kara shouted, Captain, the flagship's shields are weakening. Stone smiled grimly. Good. That's our target. The humans weaved through the asteroids, dodging massive beams of energy. Then, at the perfect moment, they fired their final salvo directly at the flagship's core. Explosions tore through the ship. Sparks, fire, and debris erupted across the void. The flagship staggered, crippled but still alive. The Empire's commander roared across comms, rage and disbelief in his voice. How can one small ship? Stone didn't answer. Instead, he turned to his crew. We're not finished yet. Stay sharp. The Odyssey twisted through space, dodging remaining ships, using the asteroids as cover. Each strike was precise. Each move was survival. And yet, even in this chaos, the humans were not panicked. They were determined. Behind them, fleets regrouped, but the morale had shifted. The Empire, vast and mighty, had been humiliated by one small ship and its crew. Fear spread through the ranks. These humans were not ordinary. They were unpredictable, clever, fearless. Stone's voice rang through the bridge. Listen closely. We are small, yes, fragile. But we have something stronger than their weapons. We have courage. We have will. And we have each other. That is why we survive. That is why we fight. That is why the Empire cannot break us. Darrell grinned, firing another volley. Never back down, Captain? Stone's eyes gleamed. Never. The final showdown approached. The Odyssey faced the Empire's remaining flagship head-on. Both sides knew only one could leave the field intact. Plasma beams collided with shields. Explosions lit the void like deadly fireworks. Every strike from the humans was met with overwhelming force, but somehow, they endured. The flagship faltered again. Its massive hull cracked under human tactics, its engines sputtering. The Empire's fleet began retreating, unwilling to lose more ships. In the silence after the battle, the crew of the Odyssey breathed heavily. Smoke filled the bridge. Systems were critical. Yet, they were alive. Stone looked out at the stars. We walked into an empire by mistake, he said softly. But we never backed down. And that changed everything. Behind them, the Empire's commander glared from afar. For the first time, he feared these humans. Not because of their weapons. Not because of their numbers. But because of their spirit. A spirit that refused to bow, refused to surrender, refused to die quietly. Kara spoke, her voice shaking but proud. Captain, we did it. We survived. Stone nodded, his gaze hard and unwavering. Yes, and they'll remember us. They'll remember the humans who walked into an empire and lived. The Odyssey drifted toward safety, engines barely humming, shields gone, weapons mostly offline. But the humans were alive, and in the cold darkness of space, that was victory. The galaxy would not forget this day. The humans had faced impossible odds, defied an empire, and survived. One small ship, one small crew, had changed the balance of power not by numbers, but by courage, ingenuity, and will. And somewhere, deep in the empire, fear spread like wildfire. For they had learned a terrifying truth. Humans do not kneel. Humans do not surrender. Humans never back down.